All right, welcome. Today, we're going to dive deep, and I mean deep, into one of the biggest stories ever told. We're going to explore all the weird, wonderful, and sometimes straight up bizarre ways that life has figured out how to perceive and maybe even understand the universe. And really, it all comes down to this one huge question. You could almost call it the ultimate mystery, right? How does a bunch of atoms, just stardust, manage to organize itself into something that can actually look back at the stars and wonder where it came from? So, to even get a handle on an answer, we can't start with us. That's way too recent. We have to rewind the clock, way back. Back to the very first game-changing experiments in what it even means to be alive and aware. And the first thing you notice here is just the scale. We're talking 2 billion years of trial and error. This isn't just a biology lesson. This is the story of the universe slowly waking up. And you, sitting there right now, you're the latest part of that story. You know, what's incredible is that the first big leap forward for complex life wasn't an act of war. It was a partnership. One little cell swallowed another, but instead of destruction, they made a deal. And that deal, that ancient bargain, is still powering every single cell in your body this very second. Okay, so once life got this new energy source, things really started to get interesting. It began running all these wild experiments with new ways of sensing the world, creating ways of seeing reality that are completely alien to us. I mean, just look at this comparison. It's wild. We see the world through one lens, like a camera, right? A dragonfly sees a fractured mosaic of 30,000 different realities, all at once. It sees colors we can't even dream of, and it processes the world so fast that to it, we're basically moving in slow motion. Nature invented parallel processing 500 million years ago. But what if you don't even need light? Bats and dolphins, they literally see with sound. They're screaming into the void hundreds of times a second and building this incredibly detailed 3D model of their world just from the echoes. They can see the flutter of a moth's wings in total darkness. It's vision, just totally reinvented. And then you get to this. An entire dimension of reality that we are completely oblivious to. A shark can feel the electricity firing in the heart of a fish buried in the sand. It's not seeing or hearing, it's sensing the very spark of life itself. Okay, now this next section, this is where things get really weird. Because it throws one of our most basic assumptions right out the window. The idea that to be smart, you need a brain. Turns out, nature has a few things to say about that. Let's talk about the planet's very first swing at distributed intelligence: fungi. These mycelial networks are like a forest-wide internet. There's no CEO, no central command, and yet they solve problems, they move resources around, they send warning signals between trees. The entire forest is, in a way, thinking. And then there's this genius, the octopus. It's basically an intelligence that can pour itself into any shape. Its arms don't just feel things, they think. Each one can make its own decisions, taste what it's touching, and figure out a puzzle without ever having to check in with the central brain. It's like a committee of minds running one body. And this chart just lays it bare. Look at that. A full 2/3 of its brain power is out in the arms. It's a completely different way to build a mind. It just proves there's more than one way to be intelligent. I just love this idea. No single ant has the master plan. Nobody's in charge. But just through these little, simple interactions between thousands of them, the whole colony behaves like a single, brilliant organism. The intelligence isn't in the ant, it emerges from the colony. So let's keep going, because the mystery just gets deeper. It turns out life didn't just invent new senses, it figured out how to tap into the fundamental and, frankly, really strange rules of physics itself. This is just mind-bending. A sea turtle can cross an entire ocean and find the exact little beach where it was born because it can feel the Earth's magnetic field. And how? Well, it seems to be using quantum entanglement inside its own eyes. Life is using quantum physics as a built-in GPS. And look at this. We think of venom as just a weapon, but it's really this hyper-creative chemistry lab. For millions of years, evolution has been folding proteins into these incredibly precise molecular keys. And yeah, some of those keys can kill, but others are being turned into miracle drugs to treat pain, diabetes, you name it.
Which brings us to our final act. This is where the story makes a huge turn and points right back at you.
Because here's the thing, you're not just an observer to this story, you're a living library of it. Your body is a collection of all these ancient experiments. You've got the energy from that primordial deal, the nerve cells first worked out by jellyfish, and the same kind of electrical signals that sharks hunt with. It's all in you. So does that make us the end goal, the final perfected version? Almost certainly not. We aren't the end of the line. We're just one more experiment, one more way the universe is trying to figure itself out. And that brings us all the way back to our impossible question. How does matter know itself? It knows itself like this, right here, right now. As you watch this, as you learn about this whole process, you are the universe becoming aware of itself. You are the experiment, finally recognizing its own experimentation.